Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. In today's topic, a multi-million-dollar gift card scheme by these particular Asian ones. Again, the model minority myth. At the same time, right, let's keep acting as if American blacks are the criminals, right? Yes, yes. See, there's a little sinister game that continues to keep succeeding upon millions within American Blackism, modern day, with very few exceptions. To continue to keep thinking when you hear the word Asian, which is very generic, right? It's very generic. But in this system supremacy, which is the most awesome mental manipulation force that's ever existed, it still has quite enough people thinking when they hear the word Asians that automatically means just pure smart, right? And then that tells you a lot that the person does not do research on various types of Asian countries to see that there are various types of things going on that many people are not going to know about, right? Now, again, let me just relay this over before I go ahead and just play the main video, which is again, this is almost like an infantile level again. There are good numbers of good people, there are bad numbers of bad people. There are good numbers of Asians, there are bad numbers of Asians, right? But at the same time, right? Asia is a continent. This goes. So when supremacists was already coming up with the word Asia, they were not thinking about the dozens of countries that fall within Asia. They was not thinking about the several thousands of islands, right, in the Asian continent, and how many provinces and towns and etc. Right? But through the switchery of sinister switchery, they just got many people, unfortunately, millions of American blacks included, with very few exceptions, hear the word Asia and just automatically think it is a certain look, which is a type of caste system Asianness, right? It's a certain look, even though it's Afro Asians out there. Mm, mm, mm. And the people don't want to talk about how there's numbers of Asians who can't stand the guts of other Asians, right? But at the same time, we want to do the model minority, right? Just like in situation. Do these look like model minorities to you? Right? Oh my goodness. What are you talking about? Because you're talking about Asians, because not all. No, not gonna play that. See, it's one thing when you got people that deflect. Oh, there's many people out there in various parts of society. They love to deflect because they don't want the eyeball staring in their direction, right? They want people to stare at numbers of American blacks first, right? They want to say, oh, the American blacks, oh, those Negroes are criminals. Oh, okay. So the American blacks are the only criminals in Americanism, right? For centuries, right? Is that right? What is on that screen again? These particular bad Asian versions. And to see the part about it is that most of the time, most people ain't gonna know when they see, well, depending, see various types of Asian names like here. Automatically, for most people, would not know which particular Asianness that these ones would come from, right? In general, right? You see how that goes, right? So people just utilize the broad-based, Asia word, right? Which is nonsense. It's like how you're certain numbers of sinister Asians that had the freaking audacity to be right beside certain personnel within certain parts of Padambe's culture. Because there are certain ones who hide under the Padambe's culture white category, but they're not white, but they slide under it, right? But at the same time, if you start saying certain things, they'll call you anti this or anti that. You see the little sinister game. So people know what I'm talking about. And they were used, certain numbers of Asians were used at a couple of main, I'll put it like this, a certain Ivy League school of schools and another well-known school on the Eastern Coast to sit there and bring down what they call bring down some kind of nonsensical affirmative action, where you can't use that in race quotas in schools. When at the same time, most American blacks don't even benefit off of affirmative action. You see how this nonsense goes. So how does it sound, Muppets from the puppets? Since affirmative action basically never benefited specifically American blacks, how does it sound when you have certain numbers of Asians who sit there and have the nerve, right, to sit there and look down upon American blacks, but at the same time, they look upon certain numbers of people within the Panamanian culture as their gods, but at the same time, they won't fight back against the ones who have done them wrong, right? But at the same time, numbers of them have the nerve to look down upon American blacks, right? How does that sound?
I thought it was dumb. Maybe you're right.
Right? And so they use certain numbers of Asians, right, to bring down the affirmative action in various types of school college admissions based upon certain parts of the race quota. And you look at Ivy League school upon Ivy League school upon Ivy League school, and you sit there and see how many dang times that the first would be white, the second would be Asian, the second would be Hispanic, and the fourth would be black relative to demographics. And there's other schools. There are ones on some ones on the western coast, should we say, certain well-known schools where Asian demographics are number one. Do you see how that goes, right? But they don't want to talk about that. And it's disgusting. But unfortunately, there are millions of American blacks with very few exceptions that allow certain numbers of people within Asianness to disrespect numbers of American blacks. And there are just not enough Asians within Americanism to sit there and call that out, right? Just saying. And that's done on purpose, right? Because if you come down to sit there and helping their own people or help American blacks, who do you think they're gonna sit there and help? Yes, it ain't gonna be American blacks. And again, remember, for people who don't seem to know this, that there are numbers of Asians that don't like other Asians. So there are numbers of Asians who are very sectarianness within Asianness, right? They sit there and go segregate themselves to their own Asian particular one, right? Or ethnic version of certain Asianness. But in front of the eyes of various parts of Americanism, in front of the eyes of millions of Americans, you hear the word Asian and just think this is some kind of pan-Asian love. God, the silliness of that, right? But it brings some supremacy, right? With their mental manipulation tactics. But again, right, American blacks, by the millions, with very few exceptions, look upon the word Asian and said, "Oh my goodness, those are model minorities." Nope. No activation, no model minority activation. What do you mean? No, I said no model minority activation. What do you mean? No model minority activation. Stop that. No. We're not going to do that. We're going to go back to reality, right? Does this look like model minority to you? No. So let's go ahead and play this particular main video.
Charged in a 20
people under arrest tonight in connection with a multi-million-dollar money laundering scheme.
Prosecutors say it involves scamming people into buying gift cards and then using them to buy products that they would then resell.
All right, Fox 5's Jody Goldberg with the details.
They were caught in the act. 7 men now charged in a $20 million money laundering and conspiracy scheme.
These defendants allegedly used tens of thousands of Home Depot and Lowe's gift cards that were obtained fraudulently through a computer-based scam.
A scam that targeted more than 1,800 victims in 45 states. Officials say the men used victims in 45 states. Officials say that more than 1,800 victims in 45 states. Officials say the men used the gift cards to buy things like copper pipes, steel cables, and hot water heaters. They would then resell them to local plumbing supply and home improvement businesses.
Some victims, many elderly, were told that their
Home improvement businesses.
Some victims, many elderly, were told that their information had been used to purchase child sexual abuse material and were instructed to call a specific number.
Officials say the defendants were responsible for over 6,000 transactions on
Specific number.
Officials say the defendants were responsible for over 6,000 transactions on more than 400 dates at over 80 locations, including this one.
They would sometimes visit the same location twice in one day. The pattern got to be so big that it stood out.
Investigators recovered supplies in the defendant's vans, $100,000 cash along. Investigators recovered supplies in the defendant's vans, $100,000 cash along with high-end jewelry and handbags. Skyland used more than 50 gift cards to buy over $50,000 worth of pipes in one. Used more than 50 gift cards to buy over 50 with high-end jewelry and handbags. Skyland used more than 50 gift cards to buy over $50,000 worth of pipes in one day. His attorney had no comment. 6 of the defendants walked out on cashless bail.
We have thousands.
One day. His attorney had no comment. 6 of the defendants walked out on cashless bail.
We have.
If that would have been American blacks that had done that and got a cashless bail, oh my goodness, see, look at that. Look at that. Criminalities. Black people always doing criminality. Look at them. Look at them. That's affirmative action. Now, of course, if this is the first over the economics culture, you know, how many of them get out with cashless bails every day somewhere? But at the same time, you know, you don't have numbers of people jumping up and down about that when numbers of them, right, who commit the most crimes, the ones who do this, right? How many of them get sentenced less than certain small numbers of American blacks who do have done some things, right? And for the same similar situation, numbers of personnel with a Panama-based culture, it's been, for the people who don't know, it is known about very much that the sentencing is disparagingly very anti-American black, and the sentencing in overall way, right? Situations. American blacks are given longer sentences. Numbers of personnel within Panama-based culture overall given less sentences, et cetera. Border break illegal immigrant personnel overall. I'll sit there and how many times they slapped on the hands and stuff, let them out and stuff like that, commit more crimes, et cetera, et cetera. And the list goes on. All right. List goes on.
Thousands of victims that are out there. If we're going to be able to prosecute these people, we got to keep them where they belong. And that's in jail. That's where they should be.
Well, should be. So, but this is the model minority, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, right? 2020, what? 2021? In violence against Asians, right? That little disgusting tactic when the number one people who commit the most hate crimes is number of the personnel within the Panama-based culture. You see how that goes. And my goodness, how many times there have been certain numbers of Asians who have committed heinous crimes upon American blacks? The other day, I did a podcast about, it was a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old girl in Chicago, and they were racially terrorized by some numbers of Asians in a gift store, right? I did another podcast before, and there was this Asian woman, this particular one, you look at the outside appearances, you're like, oh my goodness, she looks so innocent, and she's very deadly. She took the life of a 17-year-old black 17-year-old black girl who just minding her business, not doing nothing. And that Asian, sinister, murderous creature took the life of that American black girl for no reason. Right? But we're going to pretend that stuff don't happen, right?
Peace, perhaps on your side, Maximal Scum. Yes, but not on ours. Permit me to inform you that an enemy which appears to be peaceful may in fact be merely biding its time.
Yes, and there are certain numbers of Asians, the ones who are doing this, who are buying their time. Just like certain type of white Hispanics, the one it applies to, who are just buying their time. For so long, for so many generations, the two largest population in America was what we call white, whatever that's supposed to mean. Because especially now you got ones that dip and dab out of whiteness, and then you go back out to whatever minority status, and some of them play people of color games. Whole different topic in itself. So the number one was white. The second one was blacks or American blacks. Those are two large populations for generations. Now, again, supremacy with this brilliancy has made sure to use other different cultures, immigrate in these groups, the ones that applies to border break or illegal immigrants, etc. They utilize white Hispanicism, the ones it applies to, and they look the other way, allow millions of border breakers to come across that border. I mean, it's uncalculable numbers, but it's double digits, millions of border breakers, right? So now the number one population is white. The second population now is Hispanic, whatever that's supposed to mean, because that's very broad, right? Because the numbers of Hispanics who can't stand other Hispanics. That's a whole different topic. So again, first is white category, the number one demographics, whatever that's supposed to mean, because it's also white Hispanics, the white Asians, and there's some other ones also that put themselves under white banner. But that's a whole different topic in itself. But let's just go with white demographics first. Two, numbers of Hispanics. Three, then black. And four is Asians, whatever that's supposed to mean. And they have some of the fastest growing rates beside Hispanics, and it's done on purpose. But again, millions of American blacks don't see what's going on. I thank you with very few exceptions. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.